Welcome or welcome back to Minding the Comments. My name is Christian, and today we'll discuss the difference between real threats and perceived threats. I'd like to once again begin by thanking everyone who takes the time to post questions on the previous videos, as it allows me an opportunity to continue doing these videos. So thank you for all of those that are posting questions. And this Today's question comes from Michael. Now, Michael's question was a little bit longer, so I just shortened it down um, to just a couple of sentences. But you can go back on to previous videos, 53, where you can get the entire question. But anyways, so Michael asks, my question is: when you know how terrible you feel when you don't sleep, how can this be a perceived threat? It really is a threat, isn't it? Well, Michael, again, thank you for your question. I think that's a pretty common one. So I thought this is great timing for us to tackle it. As today it's been raining on and off all day, and the first thing we can do is let's define what a threat is. I have two dogs, two Shih Tzus, and one of them is deathly afraid of storms. He perceives and believes that this is a real danger, a real threat. And so um, everything about his response and physical posture changes. His eyes get really big. He's really anxious. He starts to pant. He paces back and forth. He shakes. It's pretty intense. The other dog I have, Oliver, has no response to the rain whatsoever. He's actually asleep over there, completely detached from this potential, not this perceived threat that my other dog Jackson is experiencing. So completely different response. So what's the difference? The difference is that the rain is not a real threat; it's a perceived threat. But for Jackson, it feels very real, and because he feels that there's a real threat going on, he's having a physical response to it. He becomes tense, rigid, he paces, he pants, his eyes get big. And as the day goes on, he is physically exhausted. You can tell, you can see it in his face. His posture is very different. And so, if we go back to the question, um, let's look at it again and say, when you know how terrible you feel when you don't sleep. So, this is the same thing as the storm. In this case is not sleeping. You're awake throughout the night, whether it's the entire night or most of the night. And what are we thinking? What are we doing? Well, we're catastrophizing. We are thinking about all this pressure that we're putting on ourselves to perform something that is effortless, that no human can control, and we're failing at it. Or at least that's what it feels for most of us. Again, Michael, I'm not trying to put words into the sentence that you posted, but I'm assuming that that's the case. Also, we start thinking about how I'm going to feel the next day. How can I perform? How can I go to work and accomplish all the things that I need to because I'm not sleeping? And it feels terrible, it feels exhausting. So, when we start to add fear throughout the night, when we start to catastrophize and think about how difficult the following day is going to be, it would make sense that we are exhausted. It would make sense that we're going through these physical symptoms, that throughout the night we might be fearful, anxious, um, desperate, feeling vulnerable. And so you'll notice that our posture changes. We're not going to be relaxed. We're going to be rigid. We're going to be tense. We're going to be unsettled. So if we go through the night like this, with all this fear and anxiety, of course, the following day, we're going to be exhausted. And what happens then? The brain is always going to gather evidence on things that we believe are true. So if we believe not sleeping the following day, we're going to be exhausted, Brain is going to be scanning and monitoring and tracking everything that's going on. And so, as we get rigid or tense or stressed or concerned or worried, we're going to exhaust our bodies. And oftentimes, when we are in this intense fight or flight for hours, now we're going to have these physical responses, potential heart palpitations, ringing, buzzing, numbing, whatever. The list is almost endless, right? Digestive issues, whatever, depending on how long this has been going on. So, again, just like my dogs here, I'm not comparing you to dogs, but just like my dog, um, one is perceiving this rain as a danger as and a threat, and it's spending hours exhausting its nervous system. It's tired, it's drained, and it generally tends to collapse after 8 or 10 hours or so. This has been going on for years, and it just crashes. And so, of course, it doesn't feel good the following day. So, in your case, again, your brain is gathering evidence and seeing, oh my goodness, look, see, it of course is a real danger. Of course, this is a real threat. How can it be perceived? I feel so terrible the following day. But all these feelings, this experience that we're going through can be defined through this program as what we call emotional fatigue. Emotionally, we're draining our system, and then we're feeling all these symptoms. And this is why we're feeling so tired, so exhausted. So if we perceive our symptoms to now be a threat, now we're engaged in this cycle, in this struggle of being super nervous, super anxious, super. So this is Jackson, who is dealing with perceived threats. If you can look at his eyes, he's bugging out. So I'm going to put him down because he's going to keep doing this and hopefully I'm trying to finish the video. So what I'm trying to say is the reason why Michael this feels like a real threat is because you've engaged in all these thoughts and feelings, and this is the evidence that we're implementing, that we're using, that we're putting on the table, that we're putting in front of us to prove that there's something seriously wrong. When if we think about what is being awake, awake never has been shown to cause any real threat. I've used this example before that imagine, Michael, if midnight all of a sudden you found a lottery ticket and you did a little scratch off or you looked at the numbers or whatever you did and you won $10 million. What are the chances you're going to fall asleep, right? But at that moment, your mind is thinking about all the fun and exciting things you're going to do. So naturally, you're not going to fall asleep. And so, again, how we perceive the night, how we view the night, really makes a difference in how we feel the following day. And so, I discussed this on a call this week, which I thought it was incredibly helpful. Um, Somebody talked about how their goal, and I think that that's with all of us dealing or struggling with insomnia, is when we start feeling these symptoms, that can be so scary. It can reinforce how dangerous this is. And we try and fix the symptoms. We try and figure out a way to solve it. And we think once we start dealing with the symptoms and fixing those, then I can start working on sleeping better, managing things. But if we realize that the symptoms are coming from fear, we continue in this cycle. And so, what if we started to understand that the symptoms are created? The root cause is fear. And so, if we start focusing on this fear, and we can see that there is no real threat, it is all perceived, we can start to kind of bring that fear down. We can start to rationally talk to ourselves and support ourselves and realize that all of this is because of fear. And as we learn to manage and understand where the fear is coming from, the fear is going to start to come down. And guess what, Michael? The symptoms are going to fade because what's causing the symptoms is the fear. That's what keeps the symptoms going. So, Michael, I hope this was helpful for you and for anybody else that's watching the videos. Um, Thank you again for your comments. I hope that if you have any questions about this video or any other, questions, please feel free to post them on the comment section below. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the support and I hope you have a wonderful and safe rest of your week. Take care.
Hi, it's me, Coach Daniel, and I hope you are feeling excited right now because you're so close to the finish line of Insomnia. And if you found that aha moment you've been looking for in this video, please share it with the world. Because insomnia can be such a lonely and isolating place before you find our community. Speaking of which, if you would like some more personalized support on your journey, then head over to thesleepcoachschool.com. We have free and paid courses available with certified sleep coaches who have seen the worst of insomnia, left the struggle, and now are ready to help you. If you decide to join, we look forward to seeing you on the other side.